What's that? What's the worst thing you've found in a septic tank? G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and these two tanks here, right in the middle of our veggie garden, take all the waste from the house, including our toilet, into these underground concrete chambers where it is processed, broken down by bacteria, filtered, the solids are collected, and then the wastewater, which is a heck of a lot for a household of 4, gets pumped out into the garden. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it works, explain why this is a great thing for the environment, and how most of society could employ a system like this no matter where they live, even if it's in the middle of the city. And then we'll also have some fun talking to the waste sucker guy and the worst things he's found in a septic system when cleaning it out. Let's get into it. It's not the most pleasant subject, talking about waste, is it? But it is an essential part of humanity, and we produce a heck of a lot of waste. Some more than others, especially politicians, but most of their waste comes verbally. But let's not delve into that area, because that's probably even worse than talking about septics. Basically, the hum you can hear straight away, you can probably pick it up in the mic constantly, is the aerator. And that's aerating the water and the solids, because there's live bacteria in this system which play a key role in how the whole system works. And without that aeration, they would all die, which would have major implications on the whole system's effectiveness, particularly the smell. This first tank here is where most of the solids get accumulated into. It's pretty much a big poop holding tank. Some of it does move over to the second tank, particularly in the later years before it's emptied, because there is some capacity for that second tank to have an overflow, which is normal, but primarily most of the bulk goes here. Now, all the liquids that come with that bulk gets shifted over into this tank here, and that's where that water and grey waste coming from the toilet, coming from the washing machine, the dishwasher, just down the normal sink, all runs into here. It gets filtered by some baffles, and these baffles firstly screen out a lot of the floating solids, so to speak, and then it gets continually filtered through, and that clear water then gets treated with chlorine. There are some chlorine tablets in the system to make sure that it hasn't got any nasties in it. And then it's pumped out via this hose here, coming from this second tank, running past you, and well, it can be as long as you want it. The longer you make the hose, the less pressure you're going to get, because that pump has to pump that water out. Usually in the mornings when everyone's having a shower and getting ready for school or work, this system is working overtime, because naturally the tanks are filling up pretty quickly and it's pumping out all that excess water. So the hose comes out from there, and as you can see, it's whirling around, and I can position this hose wherever I want to. I know there's a whole lot of different EnviroCycle systems. Some places there's only a set area that gets irrigated. I'm glad we don't have that. I'm glad we have a movable hose, so I can put it all around the property, watering ornamentals, the grass, or the fruit trees. And it's mainly used for our fruit trees. I don't care for grass that much. But one of the keys to our fruiting success and all our 140 fruit trees on this property is this system. It's free water, and it's not only free water, but it's really good water. And the treated water from this system actually is better than normal water, because it's got a higher rate of nutrition in it, simply because it is wastewater, and wastewater does carry a little bit of extra nutrition with it. And at the same time, it's totally safe. Having said that, it's one thing to water the fruit trees, the grass and ornamentals with this wastewater, but we don't water our veggie garden with it. And that's because we can't totally trust that water is going to be 100% clean and sterilised all the time. Even though the wastewater in the system is tested regularly, every 3 months it is serviced by a qualified technician team that come around, they check the water, they check the system out to make sure that it's safe and working properly. It's still not a good practice to water veggies. So the reason why fruit is better than the veggies is simple. It's about filtration. Like an orange tree, for example, if you water the root system, the roots filter out any nasties. Well, they won't draw up any nasties because they're not after that. And then it's quite a process for the moisture and the nutrients to go up into the tree and then form the fruit, and then we eat the fruit. You're not going to get any problems with that at all unless inadvertently wastewater got splashed onto the fruit, in which case you should be washing your fruit and veg anyway. But when it comes to vegetables, there's more places for nasties to hide, like E. coli, for example, can hide in a lettuce because there's not as much of a filtration system to start off with, and baddies can get trapped in, say, cabbage leaves and lettuce leaves much easier and even sucked up through the root system. So one of the questions I get a lot is, does the system smell? No, it doesn't. It's surprising, isn't it, that you have all this yucky waste coming into these tanks and there's no really bad odour, as long as it keeps getting aerated and the bacteria are doing their job. That's the thing. And we've had a few times where the system has failed or the power's gone off for a long time, and then you can start to smell a bit of an odour coming through. It's not unpleasant, but it would get that if you didn't action it and you just let it go. Think about a thunderbox that is just a hole in the ground where people sort of poop in. That's a fairly smelly environment, although that's how people used to do their business, and of course some people still do. Those microbes converts the waste into this solid sludge that's not very smelly at all. If you open the tanks up and sucking out all that solid waste, there was no need to wear masks, for example. It's not a terrible thing. There is a slight odour, but it's not over the top. And what about flooding? Well, that can be a concern anywhere, can't it? But these tanks are on higher ground, and sometimes you'll get tanks that are built up as well, but they look better if they're dug in my personal opinion. But if you do get flooding through here, because they are solid concrete, nothing leaks out of them. They've got solid concrete caps, and essentially the unit is sealed. All that would happen possibly is the electrics might short out and they might need to be replaced, but you're not going to get sewerage sort of floating around your backyard. As far as cost goes, it doesn't cost that much either. It's $330 a year to have this inspected every quarter to make sure that it's all running properly. But you also have lower rates, so it compensates for this system. This property here has lower rates than a smaller block in the city. So in a way, it comes out about even. For our family, it takes about 9 to 10 years before the tanks are full enough that they need to be sucked out. And then it's just a process of getting a poop sucker truck coming in and sucking out all the solids, giving the whole thing a bit of a washout. Then you start all over again.
Wonder how you get that down the drain. Oh, it's a plastic bolt.
Yeah.
It's a toy bolt. Yeah.
Maybe one of the kids flushed it down the dunny, do you think?
Yeah. Probably a bit hard to get them through the...
What's the worst thing you've found in a septic tank?
A dog.
A dog? Oh my God.
Found some bones once.
Bones?
Yeah.
Like human remains?
Well, you can't sort of say anything because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Found a kid's blanket in there one day. He was Wookie or whatever.
Yeah, he's Wookie.
He flushed his Wookie.
Down the dunny? Oh
And
no.
a shoe. I went out to a blockage and I got a shoe out of it, and Mum had bought him a new pair of shoes and he hated them that much he flushed one so he wouldn't have to wear them, but it only got to the inlet and blocked the inlet. Ended up costing her, well, a fair few $100.
Yeah.
And ended up costing him a bloody good kick up the arse.
Yeah, I bet.
The funniest one I done one day, it was just full of lolly wrappers.
Oh no.
Chock-a-block.
Yeah?
And I said to the lady, I said, hey look, you know, they'll all go up the hose, no dramas, but I said, they'll get over into the other side of the tank and give you a lot of trouble. You've got to get up the kids. And she said, and I'll just use what she said. She said, it's not the kids. And she stormed off. And she came back with her father by the ear like this. And she's showing him in the tank. The old boy had sugar diabetes.
Oh.
So he couldn't eat his lollies.
it.
He'd sneak into the toilet with a pocket full of lollies and eat his lollies and flush the wrappers.
Oh no.
And I just said to him, I said, mate, I am so sorry. If I had known, I wouldn't have said a goddamn thing.
What's that? I think that's someone's undies. And a tile.
Shampoo bottle in there too.
A shampoo bottle?
Yeah, some bottle.
That'd be my youngest, I reckon.
Lucky to get that thing.
Yeah, very lucky to get that through all the S-bends and that.
Well, if you find a gold necklace in there, that's Nina's.
Oh, you won't find it. You have to sift through it at the other
I
end.
can put it in the sieve, but
No, don't worry about it.
I found watches and a pair of teeth. Guy was after his grandfather's teeth because he died. And his teeth went down the toilet. And we got them back because you can, where we dump, just got to arrange it. We can go and dump in a sieve.
Yeah.
And I'll sieve it out.
Right.
Hey?
Imagine sieving that.
You'd be surprised, eh? I'm banned from carrying a phone now.
I leave mine in the boat.
I have to, eh? Like, I lost 3 in 1 year and the wife said that was it. Because they won't insure them anymore.
So that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? And the last thing that I want to talk about is how can everyone have this? Well, I'm not expecting that a small lot in, or even an apartment in the inner city can have these tanks installed or anything like that, or anything even similar. Maybe not, but probably not. But what I am saying is I think that there is a provision there for councils around the world, especially for cities, instead of just sending all their wastewater out to sea, to be able to redirect it to watering ovals, watering botanical gardens. It might even be even better for the botanical gardens and for nature strips and all that type of thing because of that extra nutrients that's in the water itself just naturally. And there are a number of other places where this could be used safely and efficiently instead of just letting it all go out to sea when we know how precious water can be. For us here on our property, this is one of the single most important things that we have, getting that free nutrient dense water and at the same time even slightly fertilise our fruit trees so that we can reap the benefits of all this delicious, beautiful subtropical fruit that we grow here. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big septic thumbs up. Share the video around, visit my website selfsufficientme.com, go to my forum selfsufficientculture.com, subscribe if you haven't already and share the video around. What a long-winded ending. It's all about that septic thing. I don't think it quite works. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.